This podcast is a Folk Media production.
You are listening to Tidbits. And what is this tidbit about? Erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction. Hearing this term kind of makes people uncomfortable. The thought of something going wrong with your partner or anybody, his private part, just something not functioning right, just makes you feel like weird. So, especially when a few people have not even heard about something like this, how is it that they react to it? So let's face it, certain people do believe it is shameful to talk about this. I mean, you will definitely have some aunties glare at you if they ever hear you, or let's just say overhear you, or eavesdrop at what you're saying while you're having a conversation about this. But moreover, it is important for us to know that it is a medical condition more than a sexual turnoff.
Hey guys, this is Mansi Shah, the managing editor of The Horrifly. I think this is something that we should be talking about, like we're trying to make periods and everything around menstruation not taboo. I think we could also make erectile dysfunction just another problem that I think, like anything else, this could be normalized and shouldn't be looked at something that could make or break a relationship.
Hi, my name is Aditi. I have heard of the term erectile dysfunction, and the first thought that comes to my mind when I hear this term is that it's a medical condition, which is something that is taboo. People don't talk about it. People, I think, have sexualized this condition to a point where it has become something like shameful to talk about. It's something that people don't discuss openly. It's something that is kept very private. So, yeah, and it's something that I feel should not be sexualized. It's a medical condition and it should be taken as it is. And I feel like because of this taboo, I think a lot of people even hesitate going to hospitals or consulting their doctors, about this condition because people are not as open about talking about these things.
Hi, I'm Sheena Aluwalia. Erectile dysfunction. Yes, I'm aware of it. If my partner were to go through such a dysfunction, probably would feel sorry for him and myself. But of course, I would be supportive. If given a choice beforehand, I probably would not opt for a partner with a dysfunction like this, in all honesty.
Would women be supportive if they knew their partner went through such a situation?
If I ever have a partner who goes through something like erectile dysfunction, of course I would be supporting him because it's not, I feel like when you're in a relationship, it is a whole package. You are supposed to stick through that bad time with that person. And it's something, and I think that because of the way we treat erectile dysfunction in the society, it does take a lot of mental toll on one person. So it is a difficult condition to have, I'm sure. Because, like I said, we do associate a lot of things with just, one medical condition. So, of course, I would be supportive of my partner if they went through something like that.
I don't think that any partner should not be supportive of something like this. Like we expect him to understand what I deal with when I go through a few hiccups. I would totally be supportive. And again, this is not something that's taboo. It's certainly something that we should talk about. However, if the guy is suffering from it, I think the conversation should happen before any commitment is made so that the girl or the guy makes an informed decision. So yes, supportive, yes, but definitely want to be in the know.
So, having said that, do women in India have any idea what this means, or are people still unaware of this?
I do think women today are aware of the term and what happens when this happens. I think to a great extent, a movie like Shubh Mangal Savdhan made this an everyday conversation that does not need to be, marginalized or talked about in hushed tones. It is just another problem where, like, for example, if you had a ear infection, you'd go see your doctor and you could do that for erectile dysfunction. However, I feel like erections and having sex and being able to go on all night and all of those concepts are tied in so closely with masculinity that it becomes toxic. And this is exactly why erectile dysfunction might be facing the kind of taboo, status that it has got. I think it would just be normal. I don't think I would react to it. It should be reacted to because when you give a reaction, you are making it sound like this is something that's too big or a problem that potentially cannot be solved, you do not want them to think that this is something they can't overcome. And the idea is to be supportive.
Women in India, I don't think are aware of this. Even men, I mean, they don't like to acknowledge it. And oftentimes, especially in couples, women are, blamed for not being fertile or not being able to conceive kids. They still don't look at men as potential patients of erectile dysfunction or conception problems. If I were to find out that a guy I know had this dysfunction, I don't think I would have any change in my behavior towards him. I mean, it's life. People have different problems. And especially if it's only a friend, I would probably be thankful it's not a partner. But of course, I would be as supportive as I could be.
Women today in India, I think I can speak for my peer group. They are aware of this condition, but I think a lot of them have also been introduced to this term via movies, which again have, made fun of the condition or have treated it very lightly or have made it look like you're not supposed to talk about these things. So, I know that the times are changing now, but, for my generation, for generation that has grown up in the 90s, that has grown up in the early 2000s, it is a very different notion that we have in our mind about this condition. I mean, of course, being aware always helps. But if I try to trace back from where I got to know about this condition, I'm sure it must be a movie which, has ultimately made fun of the condition and made it look like you're not supposed to have it, or it's something you don't talk about, or, make fun of, or you tease your friends about it. So, yeah, I think they are aware, but I think the source of being aware is not exactly the ideal source. If I got to know one of my friends had this condition, or if a guy I know had this condition, I think if they felt comfortable enough to talk to me about it, I think I would just tell them that it is something that can be cured. Medical science has come very far and we have so many kinds of treatments available for so many diseases. So this is something that can be cured. This is something that is there's nothing shameful about it. It is a disease like how you would get any other disease. It's the same. It's a condition that can be cured. So I don't think I would have a very loud reaction to it because I don't consider it a taboo. I have seen in my family history that we have seen a few diseases and conditions where we've had to deal with it very carefully. So I think that has given me the understanding on how to deal with such situations. But I can understand that a lot of people would be taken aback if somebody came and told them that, I have erectile dysfunction and I suffer because of it. So I know that is understandable because then again, you go back to how they were informed about this condition and how they were brainwashed or trained to respond to something like this. So I get that. But yeah, if somebody actually felt that comfortable with me to be able to talk about these things, I would definitely comfort them. I would tell them that it's okay, and I would tell them that I would probably help them find a solution to it and make them feel more confident about themselves, because I can understand that something like this does bring you down, does bring your confidence and self-esteem down, because a lot of male self-esteem and masculinity is, directly connected to their reproductive parts. So I think, which it shouldn't be, I don't know how that makes sense. It should not be at all. But yeah, I would definitely try to comfort them and let them know that it's nothing that, can't be cured or can't be healed. And I would help them.
We should definitely bring about this change of talking about it in a less flagrant manner and be more aware of such things, because forming any sort of opinions or judgments about a person or a situation in this context can be a little brash, insensitive, and hey, maybe it's just a phase, maybe it's just something that one has to go through, maybe we just don't really know what it is like to go through something like this. But normalizing such situations and conditions and just making a little more exclusive, a little more inclusive for people to be able to talk about it, for your partner to come up to you and share something like this to you without having to be shameful about it or without having to wonder what the repercussions would be like, is just something we should look forward to doing in our own way, just doing our own bit for something like this. And we hope to bring about a little bit of a change with this episode of Tidbits. It's time I find another hot topic to make you uncomfortable with. Catch the Tidbits podcast on Hotifly every Wednesday.